Hey everyone, it's a warm and sunny day here in Punta Gorda, and I'm here right along the coast here at Red Esplanade, which is a beautiful road to look at a lot of old royals that have been here for quite some time. There's some newer ones too, some that just either died or by natural causes such as hurricane or whatever it may be. And there's some older plants here growing, and one plant I want to show you that is the closest relative to palms in the plant world is Pandanus utilis, known as the screw pine. And you may have seen this around a lot in a lot of high zone 9 or zone 10 climates, such as, say, Sarasota South or maybe all the way up into Cocoa Beach South. These tend to kind of hold on there in different sizes, but this is a nice mature one. It probably could be, they do get a little bit fatter, but this one's kind of just kept here naturally. And so these are native to Madagascar. They're quite beautiful. They have these silvery twisty leaves to them that kind of grow out just like a palm does. One new leaf at a time. You can see up top there's the main trunk. So if you get underneath, it has, you can kind of see through the whole plant and all these little screws. They look like a bunch of screws or a bunch of twirls kind of hanging out in the tree. And it has, as you can actually chop off, like you can see where some of these have been cut here. You can cut those off and reroot them. But I recommend growing it from seed. You'll get a fatter, healthier plant from that. So these also have aerial roots here. You can see they kind of go along. Some of these roots might actually be not from the plant itself, but they enjoy taking in water from the air and also getting it from, say you have an irrigation device. It's not why they're there, but you'll get healthier roots if you actually spray water onto the bottom of the trunk, which will always have these aerial roots. And Pandanus is actually quite a large genus of plants. There's some solitary headed ones which are massive. They'll have one head that's the size of this entire plant. Let me kind of back up so you guys can see this. But yeah, they're quite interesting. They grow in full coastal sun. They like the sandy areas. They will have larger heads, smaller heads, green or blue, depending on the type that you get. This is actually a pretty neat eco-type. This silvery blue color, which is hard to see because the half shaded by the silver buttonwood next to it. But these are definitely, I recommend these in zone 10 or higher. I've seen them growing in 9B in smaller ones, but ones this big tend to really show a sign of a good zone 10. And we're here right on the south side of the river, so all these plants that grow here, the coconuts, the royals, there's a nice, actually, I thought there was a bottle. There's a couple bottles and Christmas palms around here, adnittias and hyoforbes. And here's another one here, which with a little more sun, a little bit less of that blue silver color, just because of the ecotype it comes from. But the seeds of this plant are like pine cones that hang down. Whenever they branch, they tend to put out right about there, they'll put out this cone, like a green cone, that's about the size of your fist, probably about double the size of your fist, depending on how big the plant is. And it looks like a green pine cone. It turns yellow, drops the seed everywhere, and usually rodents get it. But if you can get it first, then you can just kind of break it apart like a pineapple. Really, it's kind of what it looks like when it's ripe. And they're very easy to germinate. You just want to put them in you can put them in really any media. I put them in a well-draining media, lots of heat, and just give them plenty of water. And it'll take a little bit, but they'll eventually germinate, and you'll probably have a pretty good germination rate. They're pretty easy to grow. Just give them sun all the time. They're not really a shade-loving plant. You can see here the margins of the leaflets are heavily armed, so I wouldn't put this anywhere where kids can get to it. Reaching into this plant will cause a lot of cuts, and I'm telling you that from first-hand experience, trying to get to getting to cones myself. Some of these will have a red margin, so you'll have red on the outside, red in the middle, and then red on the other side. So those are quite beautiful as well. That's actually the most popular type. This is more of an old school type of plant. It doesn't have that red margin. That red margin is actually what a lot of people buy it for, to have that extra color. But all of these are quite beautiful, and the ones that are in cultivation that are given plenty of water and fertilizer actually are some of the best. But I do appreciate how they would grow in their natural state, which is really what these would look like here. So They're a great grow. You can try them, from seed, and they really aren't that hard to grow. And they're not a palm, but they're very closely related. More than a cycad or any other plant is, or a banana or ginger. And they eventually get big. So if you have a friend that can grow it outside, or you can grow it outside, then you can eventually plant it. And you can grow them in shade as well. They just prefer sun. They're going to be a little more compact in the sun. They'll be more leggy in shade. So, but anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and want to see more plant videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions about Pandanus, the whole genus, or utilis in general, and specifically, which is this plant here, leave a comment down below, and I'll see everyone next time.